give the impression, and it distorts the picture as if these are the representatives of the Nigerian student. Unfortunately, these are the privileged few. We do need to probe beyond this surface and go outside the dressing room.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think I started on the right note. Can we have the presence of the audience so that we can engage? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we do want to get this going very quickly. In view of what, may I have your attention, please? In view of what the governor of Edo State has just said, His Excellency, Oshomole, I will very quickly then just move to his right-hand side and have Professor Bidakobe to talk about leadership in our institutions of learning across the different categories, from primary to secondary to university. You've been through all of them, and you've been at the helm of affairs in one of Nigeria's foremost universities. In terms of leadership, how critical has it been, and where are we at now?
Well, thank you very much, It is very critical. It's really a critical issue to get leadership at all levels, more so at those levels of our institutions like universities. But let me tell you, it's attitude. I've spent time thinking about quite a few of the challenges we have in this country. And I noticed that, as I've always said, we have the best students in the world. Yes, these are samples from privileged schools, but these samples are supposed to encourage the other public schools. They are supposed to serve as models. So what we need, therefore, is an attitudinal change. We need a lot of change in attitude. Fortunately, some of us also went through the same school system, and we saw what was happening at that time. People have mentioned the motivation for teachers. People have said that teachers are very important. When I was vice chancellor, I have to download somebody who wanted to do engineering to go and do education. The father never spoke to me for 5 years. He said, because you have said his child should be a teacher. Is that bad? Our teachers are not taken good care of. And because they don't take good care of them, they go ahead, as what His Excellency have seen sometimes in Edo State, to do other things like selling. So we need to all change our attitude. It's not government alone. I think this government is putting so much money into the enterprise, but we need to change attitude.
So, Professor, may I just interject now? In terms of where that change has got to start, where would you put your finger?
Well, if you ask me, let the teachers start the change process. The teachers will start the change process, and they push it to the students, and the entire country will change.
No, we're talking of leadership here now.
Yeah. Leadership,
in terms of leadership, because you're, sorry, excuse me,
okay.
We're talking in terms of leadership now. Who is going to, can we have the attention of the whole here? Who is going to bail the cat when it comes to leadership failure in our institutions of learning? Is it those who are in it, or those who are in control outside of it?
I think it's both, really. You know, as I said, I ran institutions, and I'm still running one now. It's the collective determination to have a change, to create a center of excellence. Because these students are very good. I can tell you, from what we've seen, even at the universities when they come in, from public schools, from private schools, from privileged schools, they are very good. But they soon learn terrible skills. So if leadership is at those institutions, with vice chancellors, with principals, with teachers, things will change for the better, earlier than 2050.
Okay, let me move to the other side. I'll talk to another professor who is the Deputy Governor of Ekiti State, Your Excellency. from your experience in university environment, in institution of learning and all of that, and what you're doing now in terms of strategies and policies for education in Ekiti State, Professor Obidapo believes, yes, it's both sides, but more on the side of teachers. What is your own thought? Where should we start from? If we're looking for solutions that can be immediately implemented, where should we start in terms of leadership?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. In terms of leadership, we should start with the leader of the state. In our own case, with the governor of the state. A leader who does not have passion for education, who does not love education, who has not gone through education process, cannot lead well. And I also want you to know that education is central to everything. I'm from Ekiti State. That's the only industry we have. It is our oil, it is our gold, it is our diamond, and so we are putting everything into it. And for us, the leader takes control, and he knows that the buck stops at his table. Any leader who wants to make change must have an obligation to the people that he is leading, and must also realize that if you're a leader and you want to transform education, the education industry itself must be manned by educationists. And that is why in Ekiti State, the leadership has assigned roles as they should be. The Commissioner for Education is an educationist. The Chairman of SUBEB is an educationist. The TESCOM Chairman is an educationist. The Mass Literacy Chairman is an educationist. And once we do this, and we have studied the terrain, we know what it feels, we know how a teacher feels, then I know we can move forward. For us in Ekiti State, this is where I think with my brother, a public school can also be as good as the set of people we see today. In our own state, we have our early child care center, which we believe should be a front runner in any education institution. Our early child care center can compete anywhere, either with a public or a private institution, and it has been rated as one of the best in the country. Because we believe that what is good for the rich people should also be good for the poor and for the masses. And in education, we have rebranded our institutions because we believe that human capital development is a priority. So we have rebranded our primary education, we have rebranded our secondary, and we have rebranded our tertiary because the leadership believes in it.
Thank you very much. I will take it now from there and talk to distinguished Senator Uchechukwu Merije. Now, when we talk about leadership, there's got to be a foundation for it. And most people do allude to the fact that it is the legislation that might be one of those things that will propel it, because it is expected as part of the law and legislation that certain things should be done in certain ways. Our National Assembly, what is it that they're doing to look at the issue of leadership that should be able to influence and drive our education sector to the level that we aspire to?
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, moderator. Now, on the issue of leadership on this area of education, one must make first one basic point. Education, as you know, is a part of, or rather, the parliament is a part of leadership in governance. When therefore you come to the area of education, we insist on what we see as a national concerted leadership. By that I mean a leadership in which consultation, meaningful consultation, before decisions are taken, are done between the executive and the legislature and other interest groups. Let me begin with a few instances. Like you are legislating for education. Begin with what we call appropriation, which is the primary job of legislature.
before I come to appropriation, start with what the Ministry of Finance